Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, June 8th. Very interesting weather pattern shaping up for the Mid-Atlantic region for later today, tonight, and into the early part of the day on Thursday. It certainly can include some heavy rainfall, potential for some flash flooding, and there also is the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorm activity. We have a stalling out frontal boundary zone that will kind of line up along the eastern seaboard. Low pressure will eventually move right over that boundary zone and intensify into the overnight hours, enhancing the chances for showers and thunderstorms, especially in the overnight hours going into the early morning hours on Thursday throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, certainly including D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Let's start off by looking at the NOAA Storm Prediction Center's probability outlook for severe weather both later today and tonight, and they do have a marginal risk of some strong to potentially severe thunderstorm activity up into northward up into the southeastern part of Pennsylvania and just south of the New York City metro region. Really, I think this can be extended a little bit farther to the north. I do believe there is the threat for some strong to severe thunderstorm activity later on tonight going into early tomorrow all the way up to New York City from this system. A little bit higher threat here across the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. Well, let's start off by looking at the latest U.S. radar loop from WSI's Intellicast.com. Dry morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Looks like we'll probably have partly sunny skies. A little bit more humid this morning than it has been in recent days. We actually could experience a little bit of a drop in humidity levels this afternoon. A little bit of a push of drier air, but then a warm front kind of pushes back to the north into the overnight hours. This is the area of interest right now because we'll see in a moment. This is where upper level vorticity exists. In other words, that upper level support that will help to intensify low pressure not only today over the Midwest but tonight over the Mid-Atlantic region. So again, this is an area of interest right here, and now let's take a look at some of the model forecasts. And first, before we get to the model forecast, and I will use again the Canadian model because I think it has the best handle on this upcoming situation. Let's look at the actual current surface map here. This is for current conditions here early in the day on Wednesday. You notice right here a nice frontal boundary zone, and this is what I talked to up front here. There's a stalling out frontal boundary zone right here, and that will not move too far to the east at this point over the next few hours. Kind of sets up shop right here, and that is where low pressure will tend to intensify later on tonight in the Mid-Atlantic region, right along this stalled out frontal boundary zone. That'll become the focus area for some shower and thunderstorm development, intensification of low pressure. So this is a key player as well. Again, this stalling out frontal boundary zone. It has a little bit of a push behind it that will allow a little bit of a drier air mass to move in during the afternoon hours. So again, starting off the day here in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, surrounding suburbs, a little bit more humid than recent days, but it actually can turn a little bit drier this afternoon. Then that humidity builds back up later on tonight. Well, now let's take a look at the 0Z run of the Canadian model. Again, I think the Canadian model has a better handle on what I expect to see happen in the overnight hours going into early morning on Thursday as compared with, let's say, the GFS model here. Let's start off by looking at the 850 millibar heights. This is a few thousand feet off the surface level. Key factor in the overnight hours will be the development of a strong low-level jet, and we'll see that here on the model forecast. And the low-level jet later on tonight will really act in a couple of ways. It'll produce enough wind shear that kind of raises the chances for damaging wind gusts and some strong to severe thunderstorms that could very well form in the overnight hours. It also will act to pump in some very humid air. Again, we talked about kind of humid this morning, but less humid this afternoon. More humidity is pumped back into the region, into the overnight hours, becomes a key factor in the overall instability of the atmosphere, and that low-level jet that forms will help to pump in that high humidity air mass in the overnight hours. Let's move forward. Not a heck of a lot going on right now at the 850 millibar level in terms of wind speed over the next few hours, but watch what happens later on tonight. We start to see low pressure. This is around the middle of the night, maybe midnight hour, 1 a.m. Notice some increase right here at the 850 millibar level. And here we go into the overnight hours early tomorrow. And this is the low-level jet I've been alluding to. At 850 millibars, an increase in winds in the lower part of the atmosphere. Again, this will tend to pump in some very humid air along the coastal region from the south to the north, and it will act to increase wind shear. That's a wind shear is a change of speed and direction with altitude. It'll increase wind shear in the lower part of the atmosphere, and that in turn with some strong to severe thunderstorms could result in potential of damaging wind gusts, especially in the overnight hours going into the early morning hours on Thursday. Kind of moves on out to the north and east and continues to intensify later on Thursday. Well, we saw the radar map a moment ago, and I talked about that area of showers and thunderstorms across the Midwest. That is kind of the key position right now for an upper level vorticity center. Vorticity areas of spin or rotation in the upper part of the atmosphere. We're talking like 500 millibars, mid and upper parts of the atmosphere. And that kind of a rotation aloft leads to upward motion down at the surface level. And this is that upper level disturbance that is causing rain right now over the Midwest. And watch what happens over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Here we are by early tonight, the 8 p.m. forecast map from the Canadian model here. Very impressive upper level feature here, located over the Midwest early tonight, causing some upward motion right in this region right here. Again, we talk about like a spin in the atmosphere. Here's the vorticity maximum right in this region as of 8 p.m. tonight. The upward motion tends to be in the eastern flank of an upper level low. So right here, with that positioning right there, the best upward motion might be right over the mid-Atlantic region in the early part of the evening, and that will continue into the overnight hours. So here's that vorticity center. That's a key factor here. Upward motion right in this region right here, leading to the high probability of showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight into the early morning hours on Thursday. And again, some of that rain can be heavy at times. We'll have to watch out for flash flooding conditions. Some of the storms can reach strong to severe levels, potentially with some damaging wind gusts. Into the overnight hours, that continues to slide slowly to the east. This is now the middle of the night, 1 a.m. forecast map. And again, here is that upper level disturbance right here with the orientation right in this region right here, and upward motion right over the I-95 corridor region of D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City, all surrounding areas, and really all areas of the Mid-Atlantic region. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, it's right overhead, and then it scoots on out to the north and east later in the day on Thursday. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the Canadian model. By the way, the Canadian model is referred to here as the GEM. That is the Canadian model of interest here. A lot of precipitation in the form of rain out over the middle part of the nation as we begin the day, and that slides to the east. And here is that low pressure that will tend to deepen, intensify as it moves from the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic region. We saw the intensification of that 850 millibar low-level jet streak, again, as that support aloft moves overhead from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic region. And here we go into the overnight hours. Look at what the Canadian model is putting out here. And again, I tend to favor this kind of a forecast. GFS is not quite as bullish on the rainfall in the overnight hours. I think there's a chance for some very heavy rainfall later on tonight. We're talking the wee hours of the morning, let's say 2 a.m. to as late as maybe 8, 9 a.m., especially north of the Mason-Dixon line, that being the Pennsylvania-Maryland border right here. Watch out for the potential of some very heavy rain later on tonight into early tomorrow, and that rain certainly can include some embedded strong to severe thunderstorms. Kicks on out to the north and east during the day. We have some clearing skies tomorrow afternoon. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, another comfortably cool night tomorrow night. Low temperatures will probably end up in the upper 50s in many of the suburban locations by early Thursday morning, by early Friday morning here. And Friday itself, right here, will turn out to be quite a nice day in the Mid-Atlantic region with plenty of sunshine, high pressure building in, and comfortable temperatures. But look at this, another system right on its heels. Looks like it'll produce not only occasional showers on Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region, but it'll become noticeably cooler, well below normal for this time of the year. Maybe a struggle, parts of the Mid-Atlantic region to climb up to 70 degrees on Saturday. So cool air mass, occasional showers, but the big news right now in the short term is the threat for some heavy rain later on tonight into early Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic region, and that rain threat also includes a threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. Stay tuned to arcfieldweather.com for an update later today. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.